lift each other up. Higher and higher we shall lift each other up. Humble yourself to the side of your brother. Bend down low. Humble yourself to the side of your brother. You gotta let he knows, and we shall lift each other up. Higher and higher we shall lift each other up. Humble yourself to the side of your children. Bend down low. Humble yourself to the side of your children. You got a little you know, and we shall lift each other up. Higher and higher we shall lift each other up.
Thank you. I forgot the third sentence. Like, is it or is it like we? I don't know.
Well, thank you all. We wanted to, it was actually Annie's idea, I think, her caring, to bring a process that we had also at our coworkers gathering for coworkers from all the different U-Section groups around the world in January. And it's a process that can be really nice to see what's alive in the room and also how we can be supportive of each other in a very broad and spread out network. So we thought we would start, before moving into this needs and offerings process, by just going around and sharing a little bit about what we're carrying, like what it is that we are doing. And I think we are maybe a little bit short on time. It's nice if, as much as possible, we can really try to not worry too much about that, and really, like, quickly, let's all try to a little bit hold in mind that we don't want to take up too much room, and that we really we share the space generously, the time that we have. Do you have anything to add before we go into that?
No, I think we can describe the needs and offers process afterwards. I think it would be helpful to know a little bit about each other and what we do before we go into sharing needs and offers. Yeah.
Maybe we go this way. Do you want to start?
No, do you want to start? Who wants to start?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My name again is Asiel. I'm from Mexico, as I told you, and I'm currently working to bring nature and human together. And I have a project that is called Arborema, but I do many things, not only with this project that I'm trying to grow and develop, and this is just about to bring different activities and courses and camps and many ideas in where we can just play and be in nature and remember what we need. It is most. So yes, my main core is how can I reconciliate myself also with my own nature, and I'm trying to do it by my work. This is one of the projects that I'm working on. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Isabel. Right now, when I go back to the US, I'll be working in Virginia. I'm a beekeeper in training, or a beekeeper we'll see. um, right now it's hard to say what kind of projects I have kind of in form, because form is non-existent at this time of life. But I'm trying to create. A goal is, in this area in Virginia where I live, to find a way to be more neighborly, connect with the people in the area. It's a huge farming land. Everybody's a farmer there. But that said, I just want to know in what way. I could say a lot more, but that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I'm Raphael, another L in the round. And I am, as I said already, I'm working on a biodynamic farm with seed breeding. And yeah, maybe to sum it up, I would say I try to understand the plant language in a way. But besides of this, the projects I'm working on would be first really try to find or create spaces where people can get to know this kind of work. So do a little bit of public field talks and try to invite people to the farm and to really try to communicate the biodynamic breeding to society in a way, so that it's so building bridges to people that have nothing to do with this. And another thing is that we it was starting from the youth section group in Germany, that we realized that there were not that many farmers there, and we tried to build up some spaces where young people during or after the education as a farmer, as a biodynamic farmer, can come together and connect to each other and try to get into anthroposophy and biodynamics. And this is what we do now for 2 years already. We meet every second Wednesday online and have gatherings on different farms across the year.
So what I do at the moment is I live in a Camphill community in the north of England, and so run a market garden there. That's what keeping me busy, but that's actually coming to an end. So I'm looking for new projects to put my energy into. And one of them, what's that? One of them is already emerging. One project I'm working on here with Martin, who's sitting there. We are organizing a gathering in the UK in September for mostly young people, but not only. It's going to be an intergenerational gathering, and it's really to create spaces where people can meet and connect. So it was in the newsletter. So if you want to find out more, it's still in a process of being created. But that's quite exciting. And yeah, the kind of thought that came, I'd like to really run together with other people like a modern mystery school, where we would work with nature and with each other and learn from the process. Yeah.
Yeah, so my name is Walter. I'm from the Netherlands. I work as a gardener at kind of a Camphill community, small garden, 0.5 hectare, which means 50 by 100 meters, basically. It's a garden. The garden is my responsibility there, and there live young people. They receive help and care. They are like in their puberty. Project-wise, I'm involved with the Biodynamic Association youngster activities now for the last 5 years, I think. We've been trying to give this an impulse. Yeah, got some response, but not a lot. But like this is something I've been involved in, organizing a few activities a year or stuff like that, helping with some conferences. And now with this, for the future, there is one project I can quickly share. I've been asked to help set up a biodynamic educational and just experiential community in Spain, somewhere between Barcelona and Valencia. There's a farmland of 2 hectares with olive trees, which will be, there's a biodynamic farmer who wants to give it, you know, for these purposes, to start a community. So I think that's really cool, and we're gonna need help and people who want to join in, you know. Yeah, and I want to be involved. I feel I want to be involved in more like educational activities, anthroposophic-wise, in the Netherlands, developing them, making, you know, anthroposophy and other, you know, nature-inspired stuff available for younger people, so you know they can go and help development for the future.
Hello, my name is Rosanne. I am working as a farmer after I kind of finished my course of biodynamic agriculture. And next to that, I'm like working in a biological shop, because like health was really something that interested me, and definitely herbal medicine. And like in the shop, we have like a lot of herbals, and like people come. So it's like I really like to be more inspired by how to heal like the person with what we have from nature. The farm I'm working at is like a CSA project. We're working with CSA. People come harvest their vegetables on the farm. We have like some cows, pigs for meat, and then it's like more a social event because part of the community. It's CSA is like a community. At the farm we work on, it really feels like people come, help, and give what they can offer, which is really like ondersteunend. Supporting for the farmers, because there have been some tough years. So, yeah, thank you.
Hello, I'm Magdalena, and I'm also in a phase of life where I'm discovering. I was sort of in a washing machine before this, sort of bouncing around from different initiatives to projects to traveling, and I felt like I really needed to ground myself, so I moved to Prague 3 years ago, where I now study at a school that enables me to do all the things I've always wanted to explore, which is theater and film and radio studies. So I'm kind of combining the 3 of those fields, and but I'm interested in health and initiatives and anthroposophy, and in my ideal world, I would, in the future, just do all these different projects and somehow, I don't know, maybe involve film or media or theater. So, yeah.
Hello, my name is Antonia. I am from Germany, and from Germany, yeah. And right now, I should have started my education to biodynamical farming, but I'm injured, so I can't, unfortunately. But I will do it. That's what I'm doing right now, working on farms, making internships, and a project where I'm quite involved right now. It's in Georgia. I've lived there for 9 months. It's a youth peace project which was founded when the war between Russia and Ukraine started. And they've met together and tried to not let this separation be and try to find, or now they're trying to find ways to each other or ways in between people which are suffering in wars. And yeah, there we have like small land, 2 hectares, I don't know what's this word in English, yeah. And when I was there, I just felt, okay, now it's time, I really want to do this education. And hopefully, if I can start it, to support it there. Yeah, and it's a project which is also about anthroposophy, and there's like art, agriculture, also therapy. And it's really new, it's really chaotic, but it started, and they try to develop it more and more right now. Thank you.
Yes, I'm Larissa from Germany, and now I'm working with trees as a tree surgeon. A tree surgeon. Yes, and for me it feels often like to be the bridge between a huge nature, like trees are like a big kind of nature, what is for most people it's so untouchable. They can't connect to, then they are feeling fear about it, and I see my work as to bring a connection to people who don't understand, and so that's my work now. And I would like to learn a lot of agriculture, and a dream of mine is to connect those both spaces and to reconnect the trees in the agriculture as a part. Yes.
Hello, I'm Rachel. So I currently work in Newton D, which is a Camp Hill community in Scotland. I've worked there 2.5 years. I currently manage the dairy, and I sometimes make cheese, but I feel like I'm more the oversight, and I work on the farm. I feel like my work is very much like tuned into the community. I feel like this is the first time I've like put antenna out to the larger biodynamic anthroposophical world, because I feel like in general, I don't know, I feel very much in the community, and so I'm thinking about, I don't know, the interpersonal and biodynamic work there. So I don't know, I'm feeling kind of torn between like my usual mode of like totally logged in and this branching outward connections. I'm trying to see what I will bring back there. But yeah, I feel like I don't have a set project or something that I can imagine I'm working on. We're looking for someone to kind of replace me in the dairy management so that I can be more on the farm. But that's like not a project. That's just life moving on and shifting. I feel like I'm just confronting the difficulties of community building, and I mean, working with any farmer can be tough because not traditionally the most communicative and open. So I feel like bringing grace and, I don't know, honesty and love into like this farming space, trying to figure out how to lead a team together. I'm especially interested. I mean, I just started with 2 days on the farm when I first came, and my transition to seeing the bigger picture of farm life and like land management in my community was very beautiful. But I'm always trying to think about how to connect a short-term coworker who's just there for 1 year. You know, they don't get to see the seasons repeated. You know, they don't get that bigger picture. So how can I help give them the bigger picture and feel like they're connected to something larger? So, yeah.
I'm Katrina. I'm working here in the U section, like right there, and then we also have an office in the Goetheanum. That's where I spend most of my working time. And yeah, I think generally a lot of the projects and sort of like themes that occupy my time are around this sort of global picture and connecting people and thinking about, I think also just these questions of how does U-section activity also reflect the areas that it's in? Some groups in one country looking really different than others, or what is the essence and what kind of is allowed to show its individuality depending on where it's living and how it's living. And then also along with that, I'm carrying a lot of the communication stuff, newsletter, zine, social media, stuff like that. And organizing a few conferences and other projects and processes. The biggest one on our horizon is a conference for young people between 16 and 20. We're expecting 800 young people here in April. So if you have any young friends or colleagues that would be interested, high schoolers, we have a poster on the door in there, and that's a big one. So that's taking up a lot of my time right now, but it's also nice.
I'm Iona. I am in like maybe a third of the way through this 3.5 month trip that I'm on right now. I'll be mainly, in Europe, and then I'll be in Georgia also, and the UK, visiting different education programs, and I'm also, I think, also feeling reminded of this too. Like, I'm interested in like kind of alternative education programs that are kind of concretely formed, and also just alternative forms of education in the context of community. And so some of my trip is really planned in certain places that I'm going to visit and talk to people and stuff, and then I think I'm also just looking to see what also emerges in terms of visiting, and and asking this question of if I will be trying to lead the charge in starting an educational program where I live in upstate New York. One project that I am working on right now is someone named Anthony Mecca, who is one of the directors of the Biodynamic Association in the U.S. Him and his wife are starting a agriculture education program, which, what you said, they've kind of talked about it in really similar words, this like mystery school in the context of the land and agriculture. Yeah.
I saw you guys talking a lot.
Well, we were running a workshop with Anthony, so we worked together.
Okay, nice. I've over the years have been kind of in and out of agriculture spaces, and it's somehow this thread, and it's not my whole life somehow, but is also just keeps coming back. And I have the dream to someday have beef cows in the context of the rest of my life. So, yeah.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Osvier from Venezuela. In my country, most farmers are very poor, because the system of agriculture is very conventional. So it's very unjust for them. So my personal project to the future, is to help them to create a system of agriculture or economic for them. So I think the biodynamic and anthroposophy is the way to they can to work in their egos, to the individual person, to emancipate to the agriculture conventional, no? So the agriculture and anthroposophy help them to create a system of help the family, and the country. That's it. I come here to learn, to help them in the future. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm Maria Esther Mares from Mexico. I would say in summer 2027 there will be the 4th edition of a nice experiment that's going on in Latin America, where young people get together and travel through different lands. The first year it was in Colombia for about 1 month. Second year was in Brazil for 3 weeks. And this time, while we're here, it's happening in Neuquén in Argentina. And probably next time will be in Mexico. So it's a very interesting trip because it's, most of it is developed by the young people. They came together on their own interest. And there are 2 crazy guys that are so funny. Actually, there are priests from this community of Christians, if you know, that is a sister of anthroposophy. And one is from Argentina, the other one is from Colombia. And they are deciding what to do in these projects, what every single person that goes to this trip has a question or has something that's going on, and they do this journey, so it has appeared. Some of them related to biodynamic, but some of them are related to, all with anthroposophy, but they're related to education or social work or whatever. So I'll be hopefully hosting this 2027 in my place, and yeah, I think I will put this here. That's what I'm trying to figure out. How can it be the best way to be developed? I do a lot of other things. You already probably listened to the conference or the talk I give the first day. So in this direction, I have a personal project in these mountains. So where I work with the cooperative, this huge thing, but also in the little scale, we want to work with Asiel and some other people there, with the youth people from the between, I would say, 13 and 15. And the parents, because there are people that's located in the place, that they're still farmers. They grow coffee, vanilla, cacao, and so on, and they have a strong connection with the land, and also are curious to biodynamic because they all have already have an encounter with the biodynamic. So we'll see what happens. Mm-hmm.
It's so nice to hear all dreams that comes true. I am young old man. I have made many things in my life through this process of self-knowledge. And in this period, I grew up my four children's having their own vegetables. So they had the experience to take out carrots and tomatoes and sweet peas and mangoes and lychees and everything. So I did my work with my children, but in another period, the humanity asked me, and I went to share with children's and giving vegetable garden and medicinal lessons to the elementary schools and consciousness cuisine, cooking for the elementary. And we came out of the curriculum because only in third grade they do that, normally in the Waldorf schools. But we decide to do it from 1st to 9 because the circumstance of the present modern times is needing to have conscious about how the vegetable grows and the rhythm of the time with everything. So I have the opportunity to have a good connection with Eduardo Rincon because I used to teach in his daughter's school. So I meet Eduardo through teaching to his daughter, and then that made me be into the biodynamics and having Eduardo as my teacher to do the preparations and to understand the world of what it's all about. So I had this nice experience, and I've been promoting the gardening through like a self-knowledge, through the connection with the elementals, with Christ, with the angels, archangel, etc. And of course, in this moment of my life, I just want to keep being useful for the really ones that needs my capacities. And really the higher kingdoms are doing their best to keep putting me where I am useful. So it's very nice to share, and that I can eat from your etheric, desire of your soul, of your spirit. For me, it's just nurturing myself that we are on the tune with the other realms that are just helping us and transferring clarity and comprehension into this path.
Does Raphael want to share anything? Oh.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hello.
Nice. Hello. So, Rafael in that room is the only person who knows me physically. I realized this. That's funny. And also, Annie just joined from the airport. Friend. Yeah. So good travels, Annie and friends. Yeah, it's really nice to hear everybody's stories, actually, a little bit of yourselves. Um, I myself, I guess for the since I went out of since I was in university studying agriculture, agronomy really, not agriculture. Um, I've been like gathering bits and pieces of how to um, do agriculture better, right? But for some reason, I always had this wider look on, and I was studying some agricultural reforms, not in depth, but I was always interested in the peasant movements. Um, I was always in gatherings of this kind, Latin American Agriculture Conference, not biodynamics, but agroecology, and yeah. Um, and at some point, yeah, maybe almost at the same time, biodynamics and anthroposophy, I ran into that and gradually I started being more and more and more interested, and I read a lot. And I'd say in 2019, I kind of took the commitment with anthroposophy. Like I said to myself, okay, I'm going with this. And yeah, by then I had already met my mentors, Peter and Monica. They taught me a lot about beekeeping, about bees really, because they came out of beekeeping. They wanted to do other kind of beekeeping, um, because regular conventional beekeeping didn't make sense to them. So we ended up doing some very, very nice hives, big and thick hives, where the bees can stay warm and healthy. Um, I've been learning a lot of about the preparations through the years. I have my preparations here and there, and uh, but I've been a bit on myself collecting all this, and 3 years ago I met my wife, so now I have a partner and a son, and we're trying to. We actually made a call. We sent it to the internationally to kind of build community, right? To kind of build community and find people who can do projects with us. We created a little brand. We sell chai and golden milk, and we're doing well and hopefully better. And yeah, we do want to create agricultural community. And we're right now like always wondering where we're going to rent land, where we're going to move, where is it going to be, the project, right? But we're pretty close, I think. And one more thing is, like, in the past years, in the 2 past years, I got involved with the biodynamic youth movement, and with the biodynamic youth people, and we ended up in this, and now I'm also preparing with friends here and friends over there, with Juno and Maximilian, a festival, a gathering for August, um, which I hope I have some 15 minutes to present to you guys in the afternoon. It's a purpose that comes together with this gathering as well, to present this to you guys. So it would be about anthroposophy and practices to heal ourselves in society, and a lot with threefolding. Anyways, there's a lot of bits and pieces going around, but yeah, I'm trying to incarnate them, learning all the time. So yeah, thank you.
I can also say something, but can you tell me what's the question exactly so I can pinpoint?
I guess it's a little bit about yourself and what are your projects actually currently.
Okay. And guys, you can hear me in the room?
Yeah.
Also? Okay, great. So this is Anna, and
Hi, everyone.
she's with me on this project that I'm going to share about. But so I met some young people when I was in my master's. When I was doing my master's, it was in the topic of organizational development and consulting, and so that was my interest at that time, and it still is actually. And these people were interested. They were already reading a lot about anthroposophy, and there was already a group of young people formed, and some of the interests of the group was especially pedagogy and how to work with young people. And today, especially when there's like new people born, they come with also such a different qualities and challenges and so on. And then our group wanted to do something very practical for our society, and for this reason, and we decided to start with the school, like educational space, you can call it, where and we moved to the village to do this, and we're like 12 members of the team, but yeah, and we started with the school project, but then we are developing it more and more with different segments or directions. And one of this direction is agriculture, and for now we have a garden. We have many other things. We have like youth seminar. We have like horse stable with some of the animals. We have wood. We are now in the process of creating wood workshop and ceramics clay workshop. But me personally, I'm going to the direction of like creating a either, I don't know what it's gonna be in the future, but for now it's like it's a garden that we usually use for educational purposes, so that young people like starting from very young age to the same age as we are can come and get to know what it is and how to work with different plants. And yeah, and Anna was like, we last year we did the project with the students from the agricultural university in Georgia, because we wanted to show them that what they study in the university, it's very conventional studies. So there's maybe something else too that they should check out, because biodynamics is definitely not emphasized in the university spaces. And that's how Anna came, and she was also attending something, and also some other people. And now we're also going back, and we want to develop this idea even more. So yeah, just creating the educational spaces, or like spaces where people can interact with nature and get to know some things, because actually in Georgia, like half of the population just moved from the village to the capital city, and people just lost all kinds of connection with their villages or their family gardens or farms or so on. And people just don't even know where the milk comes from or something. So, Anna, do you want to say something?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Anna. I was like studying on my bachelor at second year when I joined this project, and it was like a really good to think about myself, who I was, what would I do to do at my life, and that's so correct that at UNIS in our country, the agronomy is so conventional thing. Like we studied some about biodynamics, but it was just theoretical, it's nothing practical. And this was the start of my journey, and this conference also helped me to like get to start from somewhere. It was like push for me, and to think about how many people is in this area in biodynamic was like who had same or similar stories like me, and it was like so great thing to meet all of these guys. Thank you for listening.
And one more thing, actually, like we are we are very willing to like collaborate with different people and like to even have like exchanges or something. Like it depends where, you know, how far we live, but even if we live super far, I don't know. It's just every country also has their own unique way of doing things. Yeah, and this is also an invitation that if you come to Georgia, you can definitely visit us and stay there and have great food. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Oh, it's already 11. Yeah.
I will quickly plug as well, if I may.
Okay.
Just very quickly, I'm Martin. Hello. I'm working with many different groups. I'm working in the inclusive social section, Camp Hill communities, youth leadership education, and various other projects like bringing a renewed spiritual striving of young people to the UK. And always happy to connect. Right now, North American Camp Hill communities need our help. The volunteers are drying up, and you know how it is in a social organism when there's not enough people. It's detrimental. And right now that's the case in North America. So if you know young people that want a volunteer experience in Camp Hill, just because the political landscape is a bit bumpy at the moment doesn't mean that the anthroposophical organizations are any different. They are as beautiful and they now need our help. So if anyone knows anyone, please get in touch. Let's send some people to America. Just Germany alone used to send 70 people per year, young volunteers, Freunde, and now this year there's 10. Yeah. Let's do something. Thank you.
Are they afraid of Trump?
Probably.
It's also just harder to get visas. That's a little part of it too.
There is logistical challenges,
Yeah.
but also, you know, people are just not so certain at the moment. But the places are still there and they're beautiful. I've been there.
And it's the right moment for
And it's the right moment
Yeah.
for support.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So that was a great example of a need. And we also had some good examples of offerings, which is the exercise we were going to do right now. But it's 11:30, and I feel like the energy is like we've done some good listening, and we would suggest that we pivot now into art and to try to like honor the rhythm, and then also make sure that we have a proper lunch break, and then we'll hopefully find time for this in the afternoon, because I think it would be a good thing to do in a sort of structured way.
I was going to say that we can use just a little of minutes for the art and do like something just to close. So I think that it is really important to share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
We should.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe we should put this on the table and have the group to decide
Okay.
what everyone is feeling, because I truly believe this is important. I truly believe that some art would do great for us, but I can do it like really in 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think this is
Great.
like
Okay.
fire of
Okay.
the great thing. What do you think? Can we maybe raise our hands, or what can we do?
I think Raphael also had something to
I
say.
just wanted to like that we could also like just try to like I think it's nice to have, as you said, some art, but then we could maybe just like write our offers and needs like simultaneously on papers, so that we then can use the break as well to like get to know what people like and bring forward. And but it's also nice if you want to even share more time. But then this would like give us the opportunity to then in the afternoon connect to what we like put out, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, in the afternoon also Eduardo will join us. So and I think it's he will be very happy to hear some of the stuff we've been doing. For myself, I have a really strongly desire to also connect it to the general question like, hey, what do we feel about the future of biodynamics? But I mean, it's all related, so it will all come up. And I'm happy to hear that we all have this, desire to make it happen, and we will. And also, of course, Raphael will give his presentation on the festival. Yeah, sounds good. But I think it's also good to like take the proper time and rhythm and rest needed to really get into the art watercolor workshop as well. I mean, you know, it's important, and I do feel like we should take the time for it needed to incarnate, you know, so we can get into our silence and the rhythm, and if possible.
Should we just feel what the temperature is? We could feel like the temperature for, we could say this is like in the direction of going in the needs and offers, and this is in the direction of going into art.
And maybe more specifically, like for the next hour. Like,
Yeah.
Because we'll, you know, if we don't do needs and offerings now, we'll figure something out for later. But to get a temperature check for the next hour before lunchtime, I think would be good. So needs and offerings are.
High, low, lowish.
Hi.
So this is art. This one is art.
Also hi. Also hi.
Hi. Okay.
Arts.
No, arts. Other way around.
Sorry, art. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
I like what Asiel said.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't mean we cannot do anything.
I agree with Asiel.
You know, not only for like.
There's no more time to decide about this.
Yeah, and there is one invitation from the anthroposophy to be aware that the needs of the modern times is to balance the male and the female. And the Easy Sophia is related to creativity, to art, and of course we are ruled and educated more into the intellectual. So if we do art, let's take the plenty of time to do it. If there is no time now enough, it's better to move it forward to do it in another time, but with the real embrace in it.
Sorry, and is it going to be another time with Eduardo to have like other space to close this one? Is that what you said?
In the afternoon, we have time for intellectual discussions.
Everyone, can we see all the hands as they asked, like, so we can see all the group?
Needs and offerings are.
May I also just an intuition that if there is projects in the room, it might be valuable for Eduardo to be in the room too, for there to be more connections.
And just to maybe also say, like, at least needs and offerings, how we were planning to do it wouldn't really like encompass the initiative sharing space directly, and so that would be something nice to have in the afternoon that wouldn't conflict between needs and offerings staff.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me also, an idea that I had at first hand, this idea I had about the art was rejected, but I want to bring it in anyway, as a possibility that you use the art to, if you would feel like it, try to draw a picture of maybe a future you would envision, or something you feel like really connected to in your heart, that you would love to see as a dream realization on earth. But I mean, the art is about creativity in general, so like.
What if, can I have a word?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm chipping in only because I was designing the program. Not I'm feeling so outside now. But anyways, what if we do needs and offerings now, and we finish the day and the whole gathering with an art piece, and then the future vision is not intellectual; it's just a painting, and that's fine because we're gonna already have so much sharing of our. And we do a proper needs and offer now. And then for the very last 45 minutes, we do a nice artwork. You do. But yeah, anyways.
Maybe you can at home also get some watercolor and, you know?
Of course. Yes, yes, yes. I've been doing it a lot these days.
Okay, okay. Did Annie said something? Because we can use a...
Sorry?
No,
As
I'm.
Annie answered about the stuff.
For
Do
the
you,
art.
do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I would just say both ways work, I think.
Yeah.
Like to do the meeting.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have art supplies. So if we want to do the watercolor in the afternoon, I think it would just make sense to come back here. Annie told me where they are.
Okay, super.
And I really like this. Now we are going into a process where we're getting into a, you know, there's this confliction situation I talked about yesterday, which has so much value because, you know, and we have to find our way through what we're gonna do now. And this is like really, this is great.
Yes. My one worry, I do like the idea of ending with art, but my worry is that if we're here now, and if we would plan to come back to this space to do art later, we often lose time in the transition. So that, I don't know, I feel like maybe, I don't know.
And then it's just, I think the follow-up question for me would be if you're okay doing colored pencils instead of watercolors.
Yes.
Because the colored pencils we can do over there because we have these plus others as well, and we have paper that we can just do. So that would be a good time saver if that's it. Because I think that's a valid concern. Yeah.
I don't know what the needs and offerings look like, but I'm sort of wondering if we could combine art and needs and offerings at the same time.
I think that's. I don't know. I did like the last suggestion of Raphael to end with, at least end with a arts creative play and maybe connect it to how you look at the future or whatever. I would like to do that anyway, if possible. And for now, let's see what exists here now.
Maybe some singing at the end would be nice too. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That you can do anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, and we can also create some intermezzo in the afternoon after the lecture.
So we've now spent 15 minutes almost discussing what we're going to do. So now we have 45 minutes left. But maybe it's good that we like move forward and not spend too much time talking about what we're going to do and do.
Something with needs and offerings?
It sounds like that.
It's great because we are like, as you said, you know, we practicing.
We're just in there.
We're like, well, it's just gonna be facing in any situation.
Yeah, yeah.
There was very good decision making. The dance was missing.
Right.
Can I suggest just like 3 minutes to do something? Can we stand up? Okay. And if we can turn to our right and put our hands in our friends and do a little massage. And breathe. And breathe. And go into the neck softly. Now into the head. And now, can we do like little spanks on the back? in the middle part, and in the low part. And from the top of the bag to the bottom of the bag. Top, bottom. Okay, stop. Go to the other side. And start from the beginning. The shoulders, like press the shoulders. Take a deep breath. Go into the neck. Into the head. Little spanks on the back. And come back to the center. Shake your hands a little bit. Shake your body. And yeah, okay, we're ready.
Needs.
Then needs, right?
So, the idea that we had about going through the beginning of the needs process is for each person to take a piece of paper, so we could pass the paper around. And then we'll start just with these graphite pencils. And so then we can each take a few moments to think about our needs and to write them down as a starting place. And then we could go around and just read what we wrote.
In general, or I think related to, like, sort of the things that we were just sharing, like who we are in terms of like what we're carrying, kind of like in this stream of section work or our tasks in the world. Kind of thing.
Right, so if you have a project, for example, or you're looking for farms or you're looking for connections, like I think it's helpful with really practical things, like I need a connection for blank, you know? Yeah.
Okay.
Something that's tangible maybe, yeah, or mentorship, whatever it might be.
Collaboration. Can be big things or small?
I have these if somebody needs to shaper the pencil.
And guys, probably we will also write ours in the chat, right? And then, yeah. Cool.
And if you have multiple needs, you can put them on like separate pieces of paper. So, for instance, just in case I have a few. So it's going to be a little easier than.
Did you already say this? Are we splitting the needs in the offering?
Yeah, just doing needs right now.
Okay.
And one need per paper.
Yeah, but you can also make your paper smaller. If you,
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
assumption that we're talking about unmet needs. But I was thinking maybe I have needs, but they're met.
Hopefully not need anymore.
And are these like needs that this group can somehow meet, or
Theoretically, but also like not to think too much about.
just like
Yeah.
mhm.
Maybe, yeah, just take a few more minutes. To wrap up your thoughts. nice if you want to write your name or the organization you're representing somewhere on your name piece. Maybe when you're done, you can put your pencils down and just kind of go in a circle again so you can get a feeling for
Shall we just pass this around and we can just read what we wrote? Yeah? Does anybody feel excited to start?
I can do so. All right. So I am looking for people that can imagine to develop an international biodynamic youth exchange platform. I would like to think with others about what a biodynamic curriculum should look like to meet the needs of the future. Should we say also something to this or just like read it out? Okay, we just... Yeah. And then I was thinking maybe like looking for people to co-create the next youth gathering at the agricultural conference. And then, yeah, maybe people for knowledge and seed exchange and network creation for seed sovereignty. Yeah. Now I pass on to the next one.
Yeah, so mine are a lot shorter and a lot more vague, but here you go. So I'm looking for creative collaboration or colleagues. I'm looking for a home. And I'm looking for an income. Yes.
first I wrote contacts about trainings. It would be nice if they're in English about biodynamics, also Camp Hills, and recommendations to share with the Mexican team in biodynamics or even younger people. Also volunteering programs would be great. This is for the Mexican Biodynamic Impulse. We were talking about this. People willing to share, even donate knowledge, wisdom, and experiences. It can be courses, workshops, talks about biodynamic with people, farmers mainly in Latin America, who cannot afford to pay biodynamic courses. That we were talking a lot about that. It can be online. It can be even in person. Who knows? For Mexico or for other countries in Latin America. And knowledge exchange. That's
I do feel the need to dream back again. Like to being able to take more time, what I'm willing to do in the next couple of years. Having like a stable life would to discover more. I need the need to co-create with music, I think, and with people my age and the same interests, and have like to take more responsibility for what I'm willing to do in life.
I'm searching for. Sorry. I'm searching for projects or farms which are connecting school education and farming. I'm searching for information if it's possible to make it like an international biodynamical education. And I'm also searching for an international connection for biodynamic farms. Or, yeah, actually what you said. Yeah, it's more what you said, something like a network or sharing. Yeah. And I'm searching for people who maybe want to come to Georgia to this peace project and support this gardening to keep it alive, or to not to keep it alive, to, how to say it? Yeah, to keep it alive and to build it. Maybe, yeah.
I am inviting future shapers to build a youth network around the inclusive social development field of work that often includes biodynamics. I'm looking for a lot of volunteers for Camp Hills around the world. I can offer an amazing Camp Hill volunteer experience around the world. And also potential participation in a joyful leadership Erasmus training. And generally biodynamic social artists.
Maybe they can share?
Annie. Raphael is dropping in and out at the moment, but oh no, Raphael is also back. The stage is yours.
Can we see her?
Who is first?
Okay, I'm first. Annie said I'm first. So it was just needs, right?
Yeah. Yes, for now.
Yeah. I need contacts or networks that could be interested in funding our event in Germany in August. Yeah. This is yeah, anthroposophical, threefolding, and healing gathering. And then for the same purpose, for that festival, people who would like to join and work together with us for the creation of that festival. We are already 5 people, and we would be glad to include 5 more. Yeah. It would be from as soon as possible until August. Yeah, that's one thing. And the other broader thing that is still kind of dream for me, it's nothing too concrete, but at the same time it is this invitation from people that have anthroposophic some sort of commitment, right? To come to Chile and join in creating more agriculture and social spaces, and that actually want to come and through conversation, through dialogue, through sharing ideas, want to create something new because there's an older generation with biodynamics, but we need to strengthen the newer generation and we need to build up new things over here as well. Since we're a bit far, sometimes, yeah. So those are my 3 needs.
Sorry, I think we were also doing offerings, no?
Just needs.
Oh, okay. So, okay. Oh, I wrote a lot, but some of them are for this year. There's others, and then some of them are maybe for more future. Okay, first very practical one is I'm looking for a German teacher or anywhere where I could learn German for low cost because I might and most probably will need this to study biodynamics. I want to study biodynamic agriculture somewhere professionally, and could you? Oh yeah, and I'm looking for suggestions also from your experience, and also I would love to receive financial support for that because I would need to collect money for this. Mentorship on how to develop a biodynamic study program, and some of you have said this too. Also, how to collaborate on this with the International Biodynamic Association, or if there's any other association for this. How to work with seeds. Everything that is connected to seeds. Okay, that's my needs. And Anna?
Okay. So at first, I'm looking for a place where I can go. It should be a biodynamic community farm, and I can go there and work and help with other people. Also, I'm looking for a practical and also theoretical course where I can study more about biodynamic and this. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I guess I have some questions/needs. The first one is how to integrate biodynamics into city life, or even into just life in general if it's not your complete vocation. It's one of them. And then the second one, just because I'm in university right now, is how to bring healthy food to schools and universities for an affordable price for the students. Maybe some exchange or something. I don't know. My next sort of question is, I will be finishing my studies soon, so I'm also looking for a new stable home base, but how to blend ideally biodynamics, community life, but also city, you know, modern life with arts. And yeah, also looking for a community, so yeah.
Yeah, a need of mine is at the moment to find an agriculture project or a biodynamic project where I can work in the autumn, winter, and spring, but I cannot come there in the summer. So I look for a way to practice agriculture, but not in a little bit flexible, not the whole year. And yeah, this would be one. And the other need that came into my mind was to stay in connection with people with the same interest, like here, but not just today's just. Yes.
Hello. Very practically, job application, currently looking for a new dairy team leader / cheese enthusiast. More young adult connection, whether in my village or outside. I'm not sure what that looks like. I think it's common that there's a gap between very young coworkers just out of high school and like midterm 30-ish and up, and I'm that bridge kind of, or like my area is that bridge, and so more, I don't know, yeah, more connections. And personally, I don't think this is for right now because I'm enjoying being grounded in a community, but generally maybe some wanderlust needs, combining some travel, connection, farming, and yeah, language exploration potentially. We'll see.
So we on the sort of communications team of the U section are always looking for collaborators if anyone enjoys coming up with material or content. And beyond that, also just like, I have like a zine that I put together twice a year. And so if you know anyone who's interested in writing articles or contributing some artwork, let me know. Or know people who are young artists, that's good. And also social media, if you're interested in any of that, that's one need. A bit of a long shot, we're looking for a web designer because we don't like our website right now. So if along with being a farmer, you also know how to develop a website, that would be cool. And then beyond that, yeah, I think we always notice it's nice to have young people who are spending a little bit longer in the space helping to warm it, who are kind of coming from a U section vibe. So we've had Iona and Annie and Asiel and Martin also at times kind of being these touchstone people who come back over and over again, and that's always a nice thing to experience in this space. So yeah, it's a need actually, and it's really nice when that works out.
Okay, my three needs are connections to education programs for young adults and connections to communities of learning, so like informal learning communities. Okay, I'm looking for mentorship from a woman who's older than me, specifically around creating and running initiatives. And then this third need is collaborators for starting an education program in the US. So looking for, yeah, it's not quite so concrete yet, but to kind of, yeah, if you know people who are interested in like really committing to starting a project and building it from the ground up, just to have those contacts and start the conversation, yeah, would be really appreciated. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I spoke shortly about a community project in Spain around biodynamic anthroposophical education, building, I guess it's around 2027. It will start like 4 months a year. yeah, okay. Well, anyway, the help, experience, mental support, everything would be, you know, sharing would be appreciated. So it can be a place for people to come and you know, grow. I would be looking for a co-worker and pedagogic, team building, workshop or ideas. You know, someone that can provide, you know, like this morning, a speech workshop. You know, so it can help you to get in touch with a certain sphere from where you can work and give back to the people or the children that you are working with. The place where I work could like use that so much, and we don't have the experience in the house. Thirdly, a platform for building sustainable relationships, and in general, and where we are sharing these ideas, like where we can maybe just put them. So like after this meeting, it's not gone, but you can have a look back at it and like, oh yeah, this person could be using that or whatever, you know? Yeah, basically strengthening the community. Something like, I think, a core group for like biodynamic youth organizing, facilitating, organizing, you know, a few events like this throughout the year, or trying to figure out some kind of core activities, you know, for maintaining the pace a little bit. Yeah, something like that. Thank you.
Training programs and project support while developing it.
So I will love to keep on having these spaces, virtual or presential, to keep on inviting what is going on, to keep communicating what's going on in Mexico. And one I haven't think about, it will be nice in this time I will be here in Europe to visit some of you at your places where you work. Very nice.
The primordial needs in the place that I am is your presence, radiance. If you come through Mexico, you're welcome in the orphanage, because that will make the kids develop their willpower through your example of living every single moment. So that's grace for their grace, because sometimes, or at least when I decide to move on into this organism, I thought I was going to help. They heal me and they help me a lot. So if you come through the country, feel comfortable and free to spend 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, 2 lives, 5 lives, whatever you want, no problem. And on the other hand, my need is keep developing seeds within for the self-knowledge.
I, as well, am looking for some sort of accessible education, training in biodynamics, and maybe even more combined with, in a way, conventional knowledge of agriculture. History, maybe. Yeah. Something new, something in a way more accessible to young people. and then I guess with that, in a conventional institution where I might go participate, that's also student-led, I guess. I would need resources to bring with me to share with the organization of students there, and bring my inspiration from biodynamics with me there, as a need to share it, spread it. I also would love to be part of a peer support group of folks, just staying connected, having accountability for, or not accountability, just, yeah, just a space that we can, yeah, share how it's going, a how it's going group. Yeah. Yeah. I also would love to know how to find who we were in our past life. I need to know.
Thank you, everyone. So we have these lovely pieces of paper with our different needs on them, and now we can place them in the middle. And we've heard some things more than once, and we've also heard some things that are really similar to each other. So maybe it's nice if we try to see, like, where are the ones that sort of fit into the same category or grouping, or where do we see similarities, and to kind of help to place them in such a way where we're sort of seeing these different groupings. Also, Annie, Anna, and Raphael, Iona and I have written down the things that you shared, so we're carrying you with us into the process as well. Is that clear?
Guys, you're the
Thank you
best
so much. Yeah.
facilitators ever.
We create, on the meantime, I created a Google Docs in case afterwards you want to put your.
And Raphael, did you see what I shared with you on Telegram? Just check it.
I'll check it.
Where's education? Education. Yes. This is like I have wanderlust here. I don't think anyone else put everyone's wandering.
But one of us is like kind of linked to International Biodynamic Youth Exchange platform, no?
Yeah, community or communication.
I was just joking.
Collaborators. I mean, we do project also.
Yeah.
Project.
Sustainable project.
Raphael's
near
Raphael from Chile is written with one F.
Ah.
And I'm written with a double.
Okay. And no one's written with a PH.
No one's written with a PH. And there is another Raphael in the group from Brazil, but he's also written with one F.
Okay. Should we should we have one that's mentorship? I feel like that could be its own. Or like educational. But I feel like with connection, there's also like there's connection itself, and then there's also like the sharing platform that was like a pretty explicit for a lot of people.
Wait, if someone is willing to like make these really organized, and then if other people want to rip these up into 4 like things,
Like sharing platform maybe is like a specific
networking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It could be near.
It's like,
No, I'm not saying that's nice, but in general, like I want to work.
I feel like searching for people, I feel like could also be jobs. Like this is like, well, I don't know if it's a job, but
If it's in the like,
yeah.
the one for collaboration.
We have like connect.
We have network connection and communication. So those 3 over each thing.
So this is job, right?
Yeah, or it's like opportunity.
Yeah, opportunity.
Here's like home.
Home?
Yeah. So maybe actually no. No, it's more connection.
And I feel like some of these are about community that's kind of like home and connection. So maybe it's, I don't know, maybe there's a stream between the 2.
Telegram. Italia facendo
een beetje educatie.
Education.
Maar ja, deze is... Ja,
kijken dat de camera net zo bij
Dat is educatie.
het is wel... Ja... Could be...
Where are some of the network ones, like people who wanted specifically a platform for sharing or like
I put mine as communication.
Yes, on the opposite of the floor.
Also toilet?
You can find.
For me it will be.
There were a lot of, it's okay, I think this is more formal, like a sharing platform, and this is more like, like this one thing, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would be easier to start.
maybe it's also connected.
Yeah. Biodynamic farm tour, that's more job on, are you working with seeds, that's more job. Task. People for knowledge / seed exchange and network creation. I feel like that's we need to produce next to others, that's like
we also have these in drawing, right? We will take some photos.
People to create posters. A kind of job.
Yeah, but it's like in between, you know? We can put there. Very much there. I put these between home and connection. Yeah, I think home. Okay, yeah? Social media, it's like here. This is like job.
But it's more like connection.
Get the job.
Okay.
I'm looking for
Can I use one of these? This is, I don't know. Okay. Sure.
Alright. Looks a bit more stressful.
Kind of. Sorry, I put some of them kind of between because they were like, I don't know, it's complicated.
Do you want to introduce it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You want the mic, Coco? Okay. So we're running short on time, but the idea is that we'll go around and just in a few words share our offers, right? So maybe they're connected to the needs. You could say, come and talk to me about this, to a specific person, or it could just be an offer that you have in general. It sounds like Raphael started a Google Doc or a document already. And so, that whole process of adding this onto those and then it would be, it's always the problem also of like making sure you add your responses and all of that. Also, I think we can leave this here, and if you find a moment during the day or in the evening, you can also come here and like write little notes in response. But I think we just start doing a round right now where we share,
And maybe we try to also specify, because I think some folks are getting hungry, that we keep the offering like sort of as answers to what we heard in the needs, and to keep it nice and succinct, so it's more just like a, hey, I heard this, come talk to me about this kind of a thing. Does that make sense? Does that sound okay for everyone? That we try to like take this moment where we've heard these things and we're maybe still like living with them, but we not take too long. I can start and then I can just kind of like show how it could look. Yeah. So in terms of connection specifically to like young interested people, we have a global network call for the youth section folks 4 times a year. There's info about it on the main youth section website. The next one is next Saturday at 2 o'clock. Ani Iona and I are some of the people carrying it. Please feel free to join us. We'd love for you to join and to kind of get a feeling for who our big network is, and we just take different themes. Also, I'm potentially in the process of starting to develop like a young anthroposophy study course for people who are interested in youth section activity in places where there's not too much going on. So there's potential partnership for people who are maybe interested in starting a like remote young biodynamic study, and to do like a tacked on thing there. So keep that in mind and we'll talk. We've got a few times.
Okay, so my offers are for you. I have thoughts to many of the things that you said, so we can find a time to talk. And then also Selve, is that her name, who is here from India. Selvi is really interested also in starting some sort of biodynamic education program, also maybe based out of here. So I think that's a good person to have like in the awareness as well. Yeah.
I guess I am offering my participation in any cross-continental connection, and also a place to stay wherever I am, and to show whatever community I'm in at the moment. Yeah, welcome. That, yeah.
Yeah, so I can also just offer to come around at my farm, and like I will be staying there for at least the next 3 years, I think. So like especially in between, I would say March and October, just ride out and come along. I'm really glad to like show people, and like you have to also things to just like work with for like I think we don't have really that much money to offer, but for food and like shelter, it's not an issue. And then I also would like to like right now there are like a lot of seeds that need to like or are searching for the place in the world kind of, and if anyone is interested in like just like it's not for commercial use but just like for if you want to have some educational projects or just start your own networks kind of, there are right now like tons of seeds that really waiting to get to people, so feel free to engage there. And yes, also for I think that's it for me right now.
Okay, what can I offer to you is, for one hand, I'm in connection with the Mexican Impulse, the Biodynamic Impulse. We are currently working in the new training in biodynamics. So, what I can offer to you is also the willingness to be in this disposal to connect these different impulses from your countries and also with the youth people, the young people. I finished my training in biodynamics, so if you want to exchange information, exchange wisdom, experiences, interests, also I'll be there. And also if you want to visit Mexico and have cultural experiences, we will be glad to host you.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything very specific towards this, so maybe more things will come to mind.
The first thing I'm also thinking of, if someone wants to go to Belgium, be free to come visit at the farm. And I think, just about like, yeah.
There's many Campbell communities around the world that need your help. I can offer connection. I can offer networks. I can offer myself. Online world. And I can offer literal connection to cyberspace also.
Yeah. For many of the needs I heard, it came to mind that I can help with connections in Argentina. Argentina is a vast country with many projects on education and on every field. Osviel, thinking of what Osviel was bringing, he's the only Spanish-speaking person there, so that would be like one of the best places in Latin America to find training in biodynamic and more things. And yes, I guess that maybe knowledge and documents and talks around beekeeping also. And one more thing is the availability to participate in this how is it going group or something like this. No, but more in the direction of a biodynamic youth movement. Yeah, something. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, there's some announcement. One second. Oh my God, do you hear it or is it fine? Do you just hear my voice? Oh, you. It's gonna take a while, I think. It's 3 languages.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
So. Okay, I think I need to think a little bit what exactly I can offer, but for sure, if you need a place to stay in Germany, you can contact me always. And did I heard right from you that you're wondering about past life? Yeah, maybe I know a person for you, or I don't know. Which also she also works with young people, and yeah, we can maybe connect.
Oh wait, okay, I'm back. I'm gonna share really quickly. So firstly, I offer my willingness, availability to be part of this youth biodynamic team, because I think some people said so to carry these activities throughout the year, whatever we decide, if it's gonna be calls or WhatsApp or what did you say, like how are we doing things or anything like that. And as Katrina said, I agree that with in general connecting with other young people from global youth section community. Yeah, and okay, I think that's it. There are other things, but we can talk about that more.
Should I go then? Okay. Since I live in the Netherlands, I guess it would make sense to be a connecting person for anything that concerns the Netherlands. If you want to know anything or visit or whatever, or need tips or I don't know. Secondly, I offer the experience of spiral gardens. If you want to come to the Netherlands, I can show you mine that we made this last year, like spiral, you know? I can show pictures of it as well and share them. It's beautiful. Let's see. No, I have to say stuff.
No, it's actually, oh, sorry. But we can also try to remember what was said here and just be responding to this.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, that was what.
Don't say stuff.
Thanks. I'm really happy to offer my experience in biodynamic gardening, and well, at least share about it. I mean, I think it's best to do it the practical work, and it's hard because we are physically away from each other. But yeah, I've got some experience now, and love to share it. Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. You know, place to stay as well, also like in a community setting. Yeah, and also, yeah, staying at the Camp Hill where I work.
Yeah, my head is just one. Just to offer that, of course, connection to Germany, like a place to stay, if you need to. And I don't know if I understand it right. My English head is completely mixed up after this 2 days. But did I understand right that you want search for connection to other biodynamic education organizations, so that I can offer the connection to the biodynamic education at a Lake of Constance? It's a very old one, and the organization, the two I really know since I was a kid, so I could bring there the connection, and I'm sure they have a lot of knowledge, and also around the world. So I think maybe yes.
Community / next home base for biodynamics and artists. Yeah, you're welcome anytime. And realistically, maybe 5% of brain power for, I don't know, you asked for, I don't know, small art contributions or small, like something practical that I could give, or like in a Zoom call. But realistically, going back home, I know that is actually not, life absorbs, but 5% maybe.
Yeah, first, I think that I want to maybe share an offer from Emily, who is staying here from Tasmania. Sorry, I thought. She offered a place to stay. Her little farm initiative's called Magical Farm. So for any young person that's wanting to go to Tasmania and surf, she's by the ocean. She also has this small channel called Grow Small Feed All that, yeah, she's just being an activist in Tasmania for biodynamics, so that's her offer. My offer is I would like to talk to you about social media. And of course, a place to stay in Prague for anybody that's wanting to check out this beautiful city. And I think this offer isn't ready right now, but I would like just to offer this for the future for people to keep in mind that if there would ever arise a need for maybe documentary or some sort of documentation with a project that someone is doing, I would very much like to collaborate in the future once I gain more skills in this field. So those are my offers.
I'm going to add a couple things because I forgot. So there's this youth education association that's beginning. For education programs for young adults kind of connected to the Gratianum and some other youth initiatives. So if you want to know more about that, you can talk to me. I also had the idea of, I have this connection with Anthony Mecca, who runs the Biodynamic Association in North America, but I would be interested in like helping facilitate this conversation about like a relationship between like North America or the United States and Mexico and South America and all of that. So the Americas. And yeah, also I think just connections in general, if you have questions.
So I want to offer my experience of the tropical experience for native agriculture too. Also, I would like to offer my, how do you say, voluntad?
Will.
My will, all my will to make something about education, connect community and all.
Well, first of all, you have a place in Mexico to stay. There's like a little house for 3 people, so they can, it's an ecological, beautiful house in the place I show you in the conference. I speak Spanish, Rafael, and also Asiel, and Luis. So yes, I think the second offer will be to strengthen this connection of the Spanish-speaking initiatives. Brazil, Argentina has a lot of experience. Chile, and also the United States, because now there was a gathering last year in Atlanta. We were discussing about the spirit of the Americas, and it came that it's so important that the young people want to come to these camps, making these journeys. So I can also help when you start your conversation. I, as a professional, I've developed some programs, some training programs. So I have some methodologies that can help you whenever you are. So for this co-creative, just the tools so you can use. And also, I'm also art therapist. So when you need some in online or something like that to warm the space, can also help. And in this direction, in Latin America, there is a lot of so nutritious peace and movements. They are not so related to biodynamics, but they are somehow. So I think that'll be nice just to put in contact together. There are also young people making beautiful things there.
What is it? Or what?
So farmer movements, like for a long time, and this the component of art, I mean like joy and dance and so on in this context, is also always there. So probably it's kind of inspiring for you, and yeah. So I'll keep on thinking some.
I can offer during the year coming to your place and create a garden, because the most difficult part in creating a garden, which is a classroom with the walls and the ceiling is the sky, the ceilings are the bushes, the table is the bed, and the elementals are there. So I've been building over 30 medicinal and vegetable gardens in my life. So I know what I'm talking about. So the beginning, it seems to be hard labor, but I even developed the gymnasium contest around doing a garden, and I'm becoming in a good shape. And it's not that, oh my goodness, no, I don't want to get the shovel, or, oh, that's too hard, that's too tough for me. No, it becomes a rhythm, even with your body, to be conscious how to use every single tool in the garden. So I will be more than happy to cooperate to make born. Of course, many says maintenance is the goal. Who will take care of it? But the garden once departs, nobody can stop it. The elementals and biodynamic profound sense is to awake the elementals in that land. And once you start feeling the celebration of this being, once you open that door to them, they are so happy to share to you the food, the energy. And that keeps a loop, a constantly endless loop, that more people will come, and the maintenance is not the hard part. The beginning is the main part, to modify, to study the dirt, and to focus into the short period, to make born your source of your food to be alignment with what we say, what we think, what we feel. So let's do it. That's now the invitation of the higher and underground kingdom. Everything is just on the thoughts and on the heart, but it's hard to make it happen. So feel free and comfortable just in advance to develop a garden. I'm open. And on the other hand, in a moment I will hope we can do, but there is a beautiful song of Fito Páez from Argentina that say, who said that everything is lost? I come to offer my heart. You know? And the melody is so beautiful, and even the poems is very profound, you know, because it talks about the earth. It talks about the relationship, and I would like to share. ¿Quién dijo que todo está perdido? Yo vengo a ofrecer mi corazón. Tanta sangre que se llevó el río. Yo vengo a ofrecer mi corazón. No será tan fácil, ya sé qué pasa. No será tan simple como pensaba, como abrir el pecho y sacar el alma. Una Chiara dell'amor. It's a long song, and I can keep going, but the poems is very, very, very profound, and it's very much related of what we are sprouting as a big seed.
Thank you. It's beautiful to hear how many offerings are. I'm sure there are so many more offerings. I think we could go round and round. It's great to see the abundance. Maybe are there 3 people that are feeling called to go and sort of get things going for lunch? We're hoping to eat in about half an hour, so it'd be good to get maybe even 4 people would be good. Your hands, yeah, great. Anyone else? Great. And is there someone who's willing to just spend a few minutes photographing these and loading them onto the document that Raphael created? Someone who could do that? Okay, just back and do that. And then we'll also need to clean up, so make sure to take your things with you. There's going to be a rehearsal in here at 2:30. So, yeah, so you can take the photos maybe like now, and then we'll just sort of help to tidy everything else up. And is there anything else, Walter or Martin, that needs to be said before?
Guys, one second. I can say about the picture taking. Yeah, like you can write like a name of the topic there or something, or just like
Yeah,
forget
we've
it
got
maybe.
that.
But you can. Okay, great. But you can take picture of like several at the same time, so you don't have if you don't have so much time like them wise, and also just to make sure like the break is definitely gonna finish at like 2:30 because that wait no yeah 2:30 because the person is gonna come and do the contribution at exactly that time, so have that also in mind.
Super.
Okay, sorry.
Walter?
Yeah, I suddenly thought, or if we just take a picture of the stuff that we wrote ourselves in the.
I think it's more also to see it in harmony. Yeah, but we can keep it. All right.
One question.
Yeah.
I didn't have all our contacts. So you have like a, I don't know, all the
That's a good question.
I have all your emails collected for
Okay.
the registration.
If you have registered for the event, if you have not registered and you just came by, then we would need your email. If there's anyone like
It's more just that it's not like this. So I have to move the instruments and stuff.
You said there were watercolors here. Could we take
We're
them
just
with
gonna,
us?
I think, use colored pencils. Seems just easier. Yes, please. Yeah, folks who are planning to go help. I don't know if Simon's there. Hopefully he is. And
and Katrina,
I think a lot of them were
Martin, someone, I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, like if
One
you
second,
wanna
one
use-
second, one second, one second, one second. Let me. Go for it.
Yeah, if you want to use watercolors, they are literally like in the like I see it like where Iona is standing behind that, like there's a wooden box on top of that shelf, and they are there. But if you're gonna do the
Okay.
painting in the glass house, probably we cannot use watercolors there not to make things dirty.
Do you need help in wrapping this up? No.
It's okay, thank you. Okay, who would be getting them?
No, that's the thing. Like Aziel should get them. But now Katrina was saying that probably you will not be able to use the watercolors because of like it should have been in the room.
Annie.
Yes.
Annie?
Hi. Do you hear me?
Okay. I'm gonna message her.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait.
Katrina.
clean up other than.
No, wait. This is the audio. You need the microphone here. Katrina.
Katrina?
Katrina.
Did you go?
Hey.
Yeah, take a microphone. That's
Never
good.
mind. Annie, I'm just gonna message you.
Okay. Okay.
She's talking about the watercolors. They're somewhere there.
No, they're not. It's not the watercolors.
Annie says the watercolors are
Yeah.
somewhere there.
We don't need them. We're
We
just
don't
gonna
need
use-
the
we're gonna use color
watercolors.
pencils.
We don't need the watercolors.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Martin. This is actually amazing. I'm surprised how well I'm engaged like this.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
What do you think? Is it going? Oh, I think it's going well.
I can't hear you very well. What do you think?
Do you think it's going well? Because I think it's going really well. I like it.
I think there is a flow, a momentum, a magic, a contribution, a sharing in the room. It's beautiful. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure. Have a good flight. Are
Thank
you going to
you.
miss 2:30?
I don't know yet. I'm probably gonna come a bit later. But I think now the
Cool.
check-in starts
Well,
at,
it's the
like,
same link.
8:15. Yeah, yeah, okay.
So I have the photos. We kind of went over a little